let's go over all the details and exactly, well, not exactly, but a rough estimate of how many free-to-play stones you can get from this Dokkanfest Yamcha campaign, which is the Whirling Cherry Blossoms Springtime Dokkan campaign. As you can see right here, you have some missions that you can complete, which I did look at the details. It says you can get 11 dragon stones from here. You have the login bonuses that you can get. It says right here you can get up to 25 dragon stones amongst other rewards, which usually that means, you know, some hidden potential orbs, some awakening medals, and all that good stuff. You have the new Dokkan Festival Yamcha and his banner unit Yajirobe that comes with this celebration or this campaign. And they do have a Dokkan event. You get 2 dragon stones from here because there's going to be 2 different difficulties for that stage to complete. There is a renewal of this bonus event for Big Bucks Hercule Challenge. Now, I haven't done this in a long time. I'm pretty sure you just get a little bit of Zenny from there. It says earn lots of Zenny, but there's, you know, as far as I can tell, there's definitely better ways to earn Zenny. So, but if there's anything worth mentioning or worth noting, I might make a separate video discussing this a little bit. So, but that is getting renewed. We are getting a new virtual Dokkan Ultimate Clash, which will allow us to get the finally get the awakening medals to Extreme Z Awaken the LR Oob, the tech one from the Battlefield Memory Shop. So that's an awesome thing with this renewal of the virtual Dokkan Ultimate Clash. And then we have some story events, the reopening of story events. I would like to mention that this reopening of the reopening of this story event right here, the Path to Power, where you can recruit the free-to-play Yamcha. I will be making a more definitive and more detailed guide about this, but that is where you can farm up some Yamchas to raise the Dokkanfest Yamcha super attack for free. So just keep that in mind. And then there's going to be an Extreme Z legendary summon for this LR Bojack, which I do not recommend at all. I don't care what kind of player you are. I do not recommend summoning on this banner right here. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't waste your stones. There's not going to be any discounts. It's never worth it because you're just literally chasing after this one unit. So, and then we have the Extreme Z battle for the LR Bojack coming as well. That's going to yield us 30 stones right there. A few extra if you're able to complete the mission attached to this, but we're just gonna say 30 stones for that. And then a bunch of other story events that are reopening as well. Something I would like to mention here is the Supreme Weekend Summon. What's significant about this is it's only available from Fridays to Sundays, and that's going to be from the 14th to the 30th. So it's going to be a couple weeks where you can complete some missions. You have a login bonus as well, and you have some missions that you can complete for some weekend summon tickets. Now, I tell everyone every single time that you need to get this done because it says right here, in addition to featured characters who can be Dokkan Awakened into LR are also available. So that means the LR characters are unfeatured. Nonetheless, these weekend summon login bonuses and the special missions, it's free. They're free tickets, free summons for a chance to pull some free LRs. Who wouldn't want that? So definitely get these done. Definitely make sure you're logging in at least from the 14th to the 30th to get some of these weekend summon tickets. And, you know, by the 30th, probably by the 29th or something like that, I'll be making a little bit, little summon video from all the tickets I gather, to see if I can pull any LRs to see what kind of luck I have. And then we have the new Area 30 that was added a few days ago. The first 4 stages 1 through 4 were added, and then on the 11th of April, we are getting 4 more stages. So there's going to be a total of 8 stages to do there. And there's 3 different difficulties, so that's going to be a total of 24 stones right there if you have not completed the first 4 stages yet. And then we have some new trial missions added for specifically area 28 through 30. So there's going to be some missions. You can check those out in the mission tab to see what missions you need to complete. I am going to look at this, and if there's anything important or worth mentioning there, I'll probably make a separate video on this alone. just so you guys are aware of anything like that. So, and then we have some various items that are being added to the Zenny section in the Baba shop. That is all of part 1 for this springtime campaign, or for the Dokkanfest Yamcha's campaign. We don't have the exact details for part 2, but there are some things worth mentioning that we could possibly get. Oh, also, we do have an Extreme Z area that's going on right now for the Special Characters Edition. And the new EZAs going on right now for this Extreme Z area are the free-to-play Great Saiyaman and Videl, and also the Ent Youth Bulma. So there are some stones to be had from here. Total of 6. There's 2 missions for each of the stages that you can complete for 2 Dragon Stones there. And then obviously completing the 2 difficulties as well as gives 4 more Dragon Stones. So that's a total of 6 from there. But yeah, that is going on right now. Now, something I did see on the JP campaign on the Dokkan Wiki was this showed up in part 1. It's nowhere to be found in part 1, as you can see right here in all the details. There's nothing here for this story event right here. But on the JP side, they did get this renewed into the Dragon Ball stories. Now, if that happens, it will probably happen in part 2, because there is definitely a part 2 on our side, on the global side. We just don't have any details behind it yet. And with this not being here and a few other things that are kind of out of whack, it's up in the air what we could receive for part 2, but this is kind of speculation and a pretty good possibility that this will end up in the Dragon Ball stories. And if that does happen, all the stages get renewed, and so you're able to farm up all the Dragon Stones from these different stages like they were completely brand new. So there's 8 stages, 2 Dragon Stones each from each stage, so that's a total of 16 Dragon Stones if this gets put into the Dragon Ball stories during part 2. And then we also have the failed Gotenks Super Strike event. Now, I mentioned this because in part 2 of the JP Dokkanfest Yamcha's campaign, they received the Super Strike event renewal for the AGLTN. But since we already have that on global, we could possibly see this Super Strike event renewal for the failed Gotenkses in place of that Tien. That is a possibility, and if that's the case, completing all the missions and the 2 new stages for Extreme Z Awakening them, you would get a total of 21 Dragon Stones from there. So if we take a look at the overview of what's going on with this whole campaign, you have the Springtime Dokkan campaign right here that brings us the new Dokkanfest Yamcha and his banner unit Yajirobe. And then for the, sorry, I didn't mean to zoom in. I have it right where I want to be. Come on. Man, skill issues, right? We have the login bonuses, or the login bonus for the Springtime Dokkan campaign, which will yield us 25 Dragon Stones. And then we have the special missions that you can complete for 11 Dragon Stones. You have the new Dokkan event for the Dokkanfest Yamcha and the banner unit Yajirobe. That's 2 Dragon Stones there. You have the new Area 30, which adds 8 new stages total, 4 right now and 4 coming soon, which will yield us 24 Dragon Stones total if you haven't completed the first 4 already. So I made a little mistake here. I said in part 1 we're getting a new Extreme Super Battle Road stage, which is not the case as far as the details that we have here for global. So on the JP side, they did receive a new Extreme Super Battle Road stage. So that's pending. So I'm not going to count that right now, but if that's the case, that is 8 stones. But that is a mistake. That's not completely confirmed for part 1 or even part 2. So just imagine that down here, okay? So for part 2. But we do have a new virtual Dokkan Ultimate Clash where we're getting the Extreme Z Awakening medals for the LR Oob. And so that'll yield us about 20 stones there. And then the Extreme Z Battle for the LR Full Power Bojack, which is 30 stones there, and the Extreme Z area for the Special Characters Editions for the Ent Bulma Youth, and also the STR Great Saiyaman and Videl. If you haven't completed those yet, that'll yield you 6 Dragon Stones. And then in part 2, kind of speculating here, I did use the same images for these, but there will be a new login bonus, some new missions. Well, I assume there's going to be a new login bonus because that's what happened on the JP side of the game, but things could be subject to change. Things could be a little bit different. There should be some special missions as well, which I don't know how many Dragon Stones we're going to get from that. There could possibly be burst mode, but most likely not, since we just got a burst mode for the Beerus and also the Bojack back to back. But if we do get a burst mode, that'll be 9 stones. And I did mention, you know, that story event that could possibly be moved to the Dragon Ball stories. That's 16 stones. And then the failed Gotenks, the renewal over their strike event, that could be 21 stones for us potentially. So if you include that extreme super battle road stage, which I put up here, that's 126 stones total that we could get in part 1. But since that extreme super battle road stage really isn't in the details, we're actually going to change that to 118. I apologize, my mistake. But nonetheless, 118, so it's about 120 stones. I might be missing some stones here and there. And then this number right here is if part 2 pans out to be what this looks like right here. So if part 2 pans out to be similar to this, we could see around 170 stones. So I have 172 here, but since these are question marks right here, that number could shoot up quite a bit to nearly 200.